Welcome. It's a great day at Palm Valley Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Dave Koppel, and we're glad that you're here with us today. Please take a minute and fill out your connection card by scanning the QR code on the screen so we know that you're worshiping with us. Today, we're going to talk about God's opportunities. Our reading for today comes from Matthew 15. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt before him, saying, "Lord, help me." He answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed from that moment. Our world is separated by walls of fear, anger, misunderstanding, and distrust, but God arranges opportunities for confession and forgiveness. Walter Weingren, a Lutheran pastor, tells a story of a time when he and his wife were just married. He says, "We used to fight, Than and I. Well, it was a sort of fight on account of it was all one-sided. I did the talking, she did the not talking. And then what she did was she would cry. I would say, 'Than, what's the matter?' And she would only cry. So then I'd use my second strategy. I would sigh loudly in order to indicate that I have troubles too, not the least of which is an uncommunicative wife. And how are we going to solve anything if we don't say anything?" I was skilled at the sophisticated sigh, and I would ask again, allowing just a tad of aggravation to bite my voice, "What is the matter, Than?" For all of which I might receive a head shake from the woman, and crying. Now, silence is always another way to do it. It gives the person space to imagine all the wrong she has committed to cause such tears. She stews in her own juice, as it were. But I wasn't too good at this approach. So I would move forward to my third maneuver, which was to accept her attack so willingly that it would throw her off balance. Guilty was I? Guilty I would be. Okay, I would cry with my hands up and my head down, the picture of remorse. What did I do now? But all I got was crying, which left me mindless, frantic, past control. I would press her and she would shrink from me. I would stomp about the room to indicate great pain and cold loneliness and utter confusion, together with the fact that I outweighed her by 70 pounds. Finally, Than would cease her tears, finally look at me with blazing eyes, and open her mouth, and then poured forth such an ocean of wrong, such a list of sins in such numbered and dated detail that I would sink in her presence, drowning in her venom, aware that things had gotten out of hand, but speechless myself and very weak. That was the last straw. I was forced to my final weapon, having been so totally provoked. Without another word, I'd jam my arms into my overcoat, bolt down the stairs of our little apartment, and pitch myself into the cold night, there to roam the sidewalks 3 hours at a stretch, wondering whether our marriage would survive, but confident that I had dealt guilt to Than's solar plexus and had caused the desperate question in her mind of, was I being mugged? Take that. All of us know about anger, about blame, about division. It's part of the human condition. It's how the world works, both on an individual scale and on a larger global scale. Tension is getting higher. The war with Iran continues. North Korea is sending troops to help Russia. Russia's providing intelligence to Iran. Oil prices are up. It feels like you have to take out a mortgage to get a full tank of gas. We're told we might be running short of missiles. Meanwhile, the war between Russia and Ukraine rages on. We don't know if there'll be an invasion of Cuba. We find ourselves increasingly less at ease with China. And here in our own country, we're divided. We're divided by our political views, increasingly locked in with one party or the other, and having very few candidates who are willing to compromise or take the middle ground. We're divided by our economic classes, by our religions, by our ethnic heritages, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, and more. We are separate. When I lived in Connecticut, I remember 2 little boys in my neighborhood who wouldn't speak to me because someone taught them not to speak with anyone who's white. You see, whether we like it or not, we're divided. As the Christian church, we're divided. We're broken into many denominations, but we can also be divided as a congregation. Some of us think there's only one right way to worship, whether it's the traditional service or the rejoice service. Not only that, we each have our own idea of what Christianity is and how a Christian can and ought to act. In fact, sometimes we let people know that they don't measure up to what we think they should. We might subtly put them down or gossip about them. Now, we are a fairly grace-giving congregation. But let me tell you, I once served a church where some folks would decide whether or not to come to church activities if those people don't shape up or leave the congregation. Every bit of our lives reflects division of one sort or another. Sometimes it seems that disagreements and separation are just normal, and that's the only way life can be. We don't always get along with our neighbors or even our friends. I don't know of any family where there's never been disagreement or division. Maybe I'm sensitive to division and separation, yet at any given time, several families in our congregation are conflicted. At any given moment, wives and husbands are calling it quits, and at any given moment, several others are wondering if their relationships will last. Most of us have been there ourselves at one point or another. I've seen couples break up after 27 years, and I've seen couples break up after less than a month. The fact is, as humans, we don't see eye to eye. We don't always understand each other, and we don't always want to understand, right? We build walls, some huge visible ones like the Berlin Wall or the Great Wall of China, and some huge invisible ones between friends, between children and parents, and between lovers. All three of our lessons this morning in some way deal with the issue of separation, the issue of people being divided. In the first lesson, God says to a divided world of people, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples." In short, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, because God gathers all people unto himself. And one wall between people tumbles down. In the gospel, a woman comes to Jesus and asks for help, but Jesus is off the beaten path of his ministry. He's not in Judea or Samaria. He's in Phoenicia, Tyre and Sidon. And the woman is not just any woman, but a Canaanite. Now, in the Old Testament, a Canaanite is portrayed as absolutely the kind of person that a Jew should avoid. So this woman was a total outsider, one who normally would have nothing to do with Jesus, and vice versa. But she comes anyway with the words, "Lord, have mercy." And Jesus even lets her know that his main mission is to save Israel. Yet she persists and shows her unswerving trust in God. And Jesus does as she asks, making it clear that Canaanites, Gentiles, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians, Eskimos, you and me can be brought into the story of Israel by faith and be recipients of the healing grace of God. And another wall of division is toppled. And in today's epistle lesson, where St. Paul writes to the Romans, the Gentiles, Paul knows of the struggles between the Jews and the Gentiles. After all, Paul was a Jew par excellence. He knew the scriptures. He knew the law. For a time, he helped hunt down Christians, and he was present at the stoning of Stephen. And yet, he saw himself as an apostle to the Gentiles. And in our reading today, Paul talks about God's grace for who? For both Gentiles and Jews. The bottom line is that God cuts through our walls of separation, and he gives us opportunities to take a fresh look at ourselves and each other, opportunities for confession and forgiveness. There may be someone in your family that you don't see eye to eye with. There may be someone at work who really ticks you off. There may be someone in the next seat whose lifestyle you disagree with. There may be someone right next to you who you just can't understand anymore, and it feels hopeless. But God will provide an opportunity for tearing down those walls. Walter Wangerin goes on with his story. On that night, my birthday as I remember, Than and I had followed the usual script of our non-fights. My sympathy, her tears. My sighs, her tears. My stomping, her pouring forth an ocean of my wrongs. Indeed, everything went well right up to the jamming of my arms into the overcoat, running downstairs, and the dramatic leap into the night. But then God messed with the whole affair. When I slammed the door, I caught my coat in it. Mad and madder, I rifled my pockets for the key to unlock the door to complete this most crucial tactic against Than's peace of mind. But there was no key. My coat was truly in the door. I had two alternatives. Either I could take off the coat and pace the night unprotected against the below freezing cold, or I could ring the doorbell. 10 minutes of blue shivering convinced me which was the best way to go. I rang the doorbell. So then my wife came down the steps. So then my wife peeped out. So then my wife unlocked the door. And what was she doing? Laughing. Oh, she laughed so hard the tears streamed down her face, and she had to put her hand on my shoulder to hold her up. God messed with the whole affair. A useful gift of the Lord God, arranging opportunities for confession and forgiveness, that God's people might respond to God's people, that God's people might reconcile, be reunited with Christ, and laugh and smile and love again. God does step in and bring us opportunities to break down walls of anger and frustration, opportunities to try one more time, opportunities for confession and forgiveness. Thank God. Let's not miss them. Amen. Go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. The peace of the Lord be with you always. Let's take a moment and share God's peace with each other. Thanks so much for joining us today. There are a few things coming up we'd like you to know about. We are now accepting vendor applications for our fall fair on Saturday, September 26th from 10 to 3. Local makers, crafters, small businesses, and community vendors are invited to go to our website to apply to be part of this fun, family-friendly event. Ladies, don't miss our next Women's Forum on August 20th at 10 a.m. in the Back Porch Building. Hear from a special guest as they share powerful stories from their time as a missionary in Honduras. Come be encouraged, inspired, and bring a friend. Water for Africa Night at Dell Diamond is coming up. Join us on August 26th for a fun night at the ballpark supporting a great cause. Use promo code H2O4A for discounted tickets. Also, on August 26th, Ladies' Night starting at 6:30 at Purely Provisions. Come enjoy a fun night out filled with fellowship, laughter, and connection. To RSVP, email children@pvlc.org and bring a friend. Again, thanks so much for being with us today. Remember, you can connect with us any day of the week on Facebook or on our website, and you can watch our live stream every Sunday morning. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.